All right, welcome everybody to Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill. If everybody wants to wave at this camera right here, we are live from Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Thank you everyone for joining us here at Daryl's and also online on the Greensboro College Athletics YouTube channel. I'm Stephen Widenhouse. Normally, I'm here with my partner, Kendrick Fruits, but today we're here with Director of Athletics, Jerry Fisk. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry you couldn't get Kendrick. You got stuck with me, but we'll have fun.
I know he's watching right now, I'm sure, so we're going to make him feel as bad as possible today.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Jerry, we've got a packed show today. We've got some baseball and softball guests. We've also got an alum. We've got some sponsors here today as well. So super cool show, packed house today here at Daryl's. Let's quickly go through what we have, let's look back at last week. Baseball, softball, both lacrosses were in action. Particularly this past weekend, baseball gets a series win over William Peace. 2 wins, one on Saturday and then one on Sunday. And then softball, they fall to Wesleyan on Saturday, but then they come back yesterday and sweep Methodist. We were both at those series at different times. Tell us just a little bit about your thoughts as to what happened over the weekend.
Yeah, exciting week. Both teams found themselves in a little bit of a spot, and I think both had a chance to fold when they had some tough results in the first games of the set. And they showed a lot of heart and battled, some great performances by a lot of talented student athletes. I know we'll talk about it later, but some great coaching from Coach Strickland and Coach Fennessy, and Coach Fennessy hit a milestone, which is really cool, and we'll make him talk about that, I think.
Absolutely. We will make him talk about himself, for sure.
Exactly.
Well,
I'm speaking it into existence now, so we can't dodge it later.
Absolutely.
It's good.
Absolutely. Also, we had lacrosse as well. Women's lacrosse played a couple games this week. Men's lacrosse got a big conference win on Saturday. You were also there for some of that as well. Just talk a little bit about the men's lacrosse team, not just on Saturday, but in general. I mean, they're sitting in the number 2 seed in the USA South. They have a huge game coming up tomorrow, actually, on Tuesday at Southern Virginia. Tell me a little bit about what you've seen from Coach Bates' squad for the men's lacrosse team.
Yeah, a really impressive year so far. A close loss and then one loss in conference, but they've played so well. We're still near the top of the nation in offense, rolling with guys like Mattoon and Justin Berry and Seth Woods. And, what Braden Mitchell is doing in goal is special this year, and he gives us a chance in every game. So really fun to see what the team has done this year. And, women's lacrosse, they haven't gotten some of the results that they're looking for, but I tell you what, they work really, really hard out there. And someone like Marlowe, they're working as hard as anybody I've seen in any sport this year, so lots to be proud of. And, they're still grinding out every game. So they get another chance tomorrow as well.
Absolutely. And they've got some big conference games coming up down the stretch. They'll have NC Wesleyan and William Peace to finish the season here in a couple weeks to determine who makes the USA South tournament. So a lot of things going on. I was pulling up men's lacrosse stats. I actually got to talk with Justin Berry today. Came by the office, and we were going over some stats. And it's pretty unbelievable. He scored 50 goals last year, and it was like, wow, that's a heck of an effort. Well, this year he's got 44 already. Teammate Seth Woods has one-upped him with 45, and then Alex Mattoon sits at 39 goals. This offense has just been so explosive, and really the addition of Seth Woods has kind of been able to open up Mattoon, Berry, Chaz Gilroy, and all those guys.
Yeah. Midfield is playing great. Defense is stopping the other team, and then once we get it into our offensive sets, these guys are really, really skilled at what they do, and it's fun to go out there, and I'm sure they're having fun, but it's fun to watch them go out there and do what they're doing. Really exciting brand of lacrosse.
Absolutely. Well, that's kind of the recap of what we've seen prior to today. Let's kind of go we'll get a little bit of a preview here, and then we'll kind of finish the show off with a preview. We'll do a preview of kind of this week. We mentioned men's lacrosse goes to Southern Virginia. Massive game. Also, crosstown rivalry women's lacrosse at Guilford tomorrow as well. And then baseball with a USA South Championship rematch with Methodist this weekend. That's going to be a huge series. And then softball has another big series against Meredith on the road. So what are you looking for this week?
Yeah, it's fun. And a lot of times when you get a championship series rematch with two teams that are really good again, you expect to see a lot of the same characters. The interesting thing is, I think for Methodist, they have 3 returning position players, and we have 1. But both teams haven't missed a beat. Both coaches attribute to their recruiting and what we've brought in and how hard they're working. But, I think it's going to be really good baseball. I think anytime that Greensboro College baseball gets a good start from the starting pitcher and plays clean in the field, our offense is fantastic. They're going to find a way to be in a lot of games and win a lot of games. So it'll be a lot of fun to see that this weekend, and then everybody gets a little bit of a break on Sunday, and we're back at it for the final push.
Absolutely. So tonight we've got a lot of special guests. We said this last week. We've got softball guests coming up. We've got baseball guests coming up. Send your questions in on YouTube, and we will ask any questions you guys may want to have answered. We have head coach Bree Strickland and Anna Frazier for softball coming up. We have Trevor Testerman and Chris Fennessy coming up here in just a second for baseball. So stay with us. We'll take about a minute break, and then when we come back, send your questions in for Coach Fennessy and Trevor Testerman. All right. Well, we are here with special guest from our baseball team, head coach Chris Fennessy and center fielder Trevor Testerman. We've got a lot to talk about with you guys. It's going to be a fun night here. Coach, let's just get right to it. We're going to make you talk about yourself. Win number 100 yesterday. Everybody, round of applause here at Greensboro College. Chris, you've had such a cool career here coaching at Greensboro. In fact, just kind of a personal, story. My brother-in-law was here, and you were on the staff one of his years, and then you come back to take over the head coach job a few years ago, and now you're at 100 wins. So I know Kendrick asked you a similar question yesterday, but what kind of goes through your mind when you think about 100?
I like looking back. It's cool to look back and just reflect over the different times, and here as an assistant, back here as a head coach, and kind of be able to pick up where Frank Monadato, my boss, who brought me here, who brought me to the state of North Carolina, kind of left off. That was kind of the goal. That was the hope. That was the dream. It started with, like I said yesterday with Kendrick, it starts with people. That's been the goal since I've gotten here, is to build a foundation of good human beings. It starts with assistant coaches and leads into players, but that's been goal number one, because I think the baseball takes care of itself over time if you can do that. That's just my personal theory, and I feel like we've been able to do that. That's the coolest thing for me, and the most special thing for me is the people that I've gotten to do it with.
Absolutely. You and your coaching staff, I mean, you mentioned it yesterday, the guys who you've coached with as well. I thought that was really cool. Even though, they've moved on to other areas, you don't forget who helped get you here.
Yeah.
So that's a testament to your leadership. Let's talk about a little bit from this weekend, and we're going to get to our man Trevor Testerman here, because he was certainly a big part of that. This weekend you took your third straight USA South Series. You guys are off to a pretty solid start. Tell me a little bit about the weekend and just kind of what your thoughts were on the series as a whole against William Peace.
Finish better than you start. It's never a bad thing. Got off to a good start on Friday, kind of some interesting baseball there on the back end of that game. I think that's the nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
But we talked after the game on Friday about playing just a cleaner brand, a more efficient, cleaner, winning brand of baseball, and we were able to do that. The adjustments that they made in real time, and did a better job, I think, of kind of grabbing the flashpoints and the momentum pieces of the game and keeping him on our side. I felt like we missed some opportunities on that on Friday and did a much better job at capitalizing on those Saturday, Sunday. One of our deals is leave things better than you found it and finish a weekend strong. And we were able to finish and we were able to close, and that was a good thing.
Tell us a little bit about Isaiah Faldoa's start yesterday. A 7-inning complete game. He's certainly shown some flashes this year of potentially being, the ace of his staff.
Yep.
I mean, he's shown that kind of stuff. What did you see from him yesterday?
He was really in attack mode all day. A lot of the process-oriented things that we talk about, he executed flawlessly, and just did a phenomenal job at it. But he had one free base, and it was a hit by pitch in the 6th inning. One leadoff runner reached on base. I believe it was the first hitter of the game. Those were really the two big blemishes, if you would. It's easier to pitch when the leadoff guy's not always getting on, and you're not giving guys free opportunities, and you make them swing the bat, you make them run their way on. And he did a great job of kind of dominating on both of those yesterday, and was constantly ahead. Did a great job of just being able to put people away as well and executing when he needed to. And it helps when the offense is going as well. He's pitching with a lead pretty early in that game. And he's a guy that works off of confidence and when he has it, he's really, really good.
Well, speaking of offense, we got this guy right here, Trevor Testerman. Trevor, we talked after the 4 home run game against Pfeiffer. Yep. I want to get your thoughts and tell everybody here. You transferred in, so this is your first year at Greensboro. One of the things that you said that stuck out to me was it feels like I've been here for 4 years.
Yep.
Can you elaborate on that and just what it's been like being at Greensboro?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, feel like I've been here for 4 years just because, as soon as I got here, the culture had already been stated and everything, and just coming in here with the guys, they just brought me in with open arms, and I felt like I've been here just because I feel like I really knew I feel like I've known everybody just for that long, and they've all brought me in here, and we've all bonded very well, and it just that helps me just to be able just to be myself and, do whatever I can to help our team win.
Absolutely. Let's talk about a couple weeks ago. You had an unbelievable weekend against Pfeiffer. And so you were named USA South Player of the Week. You were named to the D3Baseball.com Team of the Week. And then you were named National Offensive Player of the Week. What does that mean to you to get that kind of national recognition?
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked so hard and I've put so much, effort and hard work, leading up to this point of the year, and it's just, it's awesome to be able to have that recognition and, to be able to be recognized for, everything that I've, put into and all the effort and heart that I've put into this, and it's just a great feeling to know that it's, starting to pay off. And obviously, season's not done yet. There's still a lot more goals to be accomplished and a lot more to be done.
Speaking on that, you guys have taken those first few series, conference series this season. What are those goals? What are you looking to do? Obviously, I think the big obvious goal is to win the conference, right?
Absolutely.
What's the roadmap? How do you guys get there?
Win every series.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. We win every series. We take 2 games out of the 3. It's smooth sailing from there. If we win every series, then that's all we got to do.
Yeah, the math adds up, right? If you win every series, you're going to win the whole thing.
Yep.
Both of you give me real quick thoughts before we head to commercial. Big series against Methodist this weekend. You guys took the series against Pfeiffer the other week, which could end up being pretty important. Now you got another really big series, rematch of the championship series last year against Methodist. Trevor, I'll get your thoughts first. What are you kind of looking at when it comes to this weekend, and what's the mindset going in?
You just got to treat it like every other series. Don't let our emotions get too big and get the best of us, I feel like, is going to be the biggest thing this weekend. Obviously last year, losing to that championship game, we can't let our emotions get the best of us, and it's just like any other game. We don't need to treat it any differently than what we've treated the last series that we've done in conference so far.
Absolutely. Coach, what are your thoughts?
You know, it's an interesting dynamic for this rematch, if you want to call it that. It's hard to do it, in my opinion, because both teams are very, very different. You know, we was talking about it with a couple people today. Our lineup has one returning position player who played in that conference championship series last year, and that's Evan Sykes, our shortstop. They have a lot of new faces in their lineup as well. They have a new head coach. It's similar, but it's going to be a very different weekend and compared to what that was last year. So it's you live in the moment, and you just go ahead and play the game and see what happens. And we're going to prepare the same way we prepare for anybody and everybody, and we're going to come out on Friday and go try to win a baseball game.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. One more round of applause for Trevor Testerman and Chris Fennessy. Thank you guys again for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Let's head to break. And up next, we have Coach Strickland from softball and Anna Frazier, and you're going to love the outfits they brought today. All right.
Every college athlete has a story to tell, and at Greensboro College, we believe no one is better equipped to tell those stories than the athletes themselves. On the Getting to Know podcast, you'll hear the who, what, when, where, why, and how of each college athlete's journey to Greensboro and how they became a member of the Pride. We talk on and off the field, influences, hobbies, goals, and what it means to be a member of the Pride. It's all on the Getting to Know podcast on Spotify and YouTube.
You know, I just really felt like I was a person, you know, and they really cared about you, not only as like an athlete, but, you know, as an individual as well. And so that was one of the things that like led me here, honestly.
The Getting to Know podcast from Greensboro College Athletics. We are one Pride, and these are our stories.
All right. Welcome back here to Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill. So we had baseball, and Chris Fennessy and Trevor Testerman had a great time with them. And now we are here with head coach Bree Strickland for softball and senior Anna Frazier. Appreciate y'all joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
So let's get started talking about this weekend. You guys had 4 conference games, 2 against Wesleyan, and then 2 against Methodist. Yesterday you guys swept Methodist. Coach, just give us kind of a little bit of a recap from the weekend and kind of what you saw.
I think on Saturday against NC Wesleyan, took a lot of fight on top of, you know, some disappointment. But other than that, I think it's just more of like growing and doing. Our biggest thing is like when we get down, it's about stopping the bleeding, trying to figure things out. And I think our girls actually kind of grew on Saturday, not individually, but as a team. We didn't get down because on Sunday we turned around and got 2 sweeps, played very clean, did what we had to do, made the adjustments, and got 2 wins on Sunday. So I'm very proud of them. Yeah,
so let's talk about yesterday just a little bit. 5-4 win in 9 innings. Marathon game. Had some interesting things happen with, you know, some calls, and I won't get you too riled up.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Yes, but your girls came out with a win. They battled adversity. They were down early, and they came back and won. Tell me a little bit about that first game and what you saw, especially late with another come from behind.
Oh, just Just wow, honestly, the whole game, a lot of situations happen,
Yeah.
but I think it's one of those things that you got to stay calm in those moments, even when calls don't go your way. And I think from the coaching staff perspective and the players' perspective, we handled it very maturely, the best that we could. We talk about, like, controlling the controllable, all the things like that. And, I mean, that's how we did it, and that's how we played. So
Yeah.
it turned out for the best in the end.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about Kinley Brown on the day that she had yesterday. 7 total hits. Talk about what she's meant to the team as a freshman, both as a pitcher and a hitter, and what she meant yesterday.
I mean, honestly, I'll talk about her just as a person and her personality and everything that she brings. I mean, you'll know her in just about like 30 seconds because you just can't get her to stop talking. But I think she brings that aspect to the team, and she carries it as a player. And, I mean, it just defines her. Just her energy, her character, all the things just kind of ties her into a phenomenal athlete. And, I mean, she came in clutch yesterday. And, I mean, the girls fed off her energy and all the things. And, I mean, she came out and balled out. That's all we can ask for.
Absolutely. Anna, let's get your thoughts, too. So, Anna, obviously you're a senior here, had an unbelievable career. Give us your thoughts so far on the season, and then kind of what you're looking forward to this weekend against Meredith.
Yeah, the season's been going pretty well for us. I think there's some areas that we can definitely improve on and grow together as a team collectively, and that's our plan moving forward. The losses that we have took, we've learned from, and that's what you can do with the past. You can either stay on it and, like, just dwell on it, or you can move on and learn from it. And I think that's what we've done as a team. That's what we're going to continue to do. And so I'm looking forward to the rest of conference play.
Absolutely. Talk about your season. You similar to Kinley, you're a two-way player. You've pitched a lot. Of course, second-team all-conference last year as a pitcher. And we always joke about that because we were like, well, Anna's mainly a hitter, but she comes out and she's an all-conference pitcher last year. And you've pretty much backed that up again this year. Tell us a little bit about your season in the circle because I think it's really been unique and interesting because, again, you came in, you didn't pitch a ton at Guilford when you transferred, and then you came here and, especially last year, you just took off. Tell us a little bit about what your development's been like in the circle.
My development in the circle has really grown with Coach B. I've never had as much attention on my mechanics and focused on my pitching skills as much as I have until she came here.
Yeah.
And so my growth in the circle has come under her, through her, and me just learning from her and learning what she's been able to do, and then just taking that and translating it into games.
Yeah.
I do my best no matter where I'm put in the field, and that's all I can do.
Bree, talk to me a little bit about Anna and her leadership, what she's meant to the program when it comes to being a leader. Not only Anna, but you've had multiple senior leaders on this team, but since she's here, talk a little bit about what she's meant from a leadership standpoint.
If anything, her work ethic. I mean, she's that kid that she will be there at 6 a.m. in the cages, or she's going to be at 10 p.m. in the cages. She leads by example in that way. I think this year she's definitely stood up in a lot of, like, vocal aspects. She's still a little quiet, but, I mean, she's getting there. But I think, like, how she plays and how she is as a person and as an athlete, she's definitely that person that a lot of people look up to just from her work ethic and how she performs on the field and how she carries herself in the circle and at third base or really wherever we put her. If anything, like, she's dominant in the box, and I think this team honestly looks up to her in that aspect of her hitting. And she's just truly, since I've been here, has just grown as an individual in so many ways. And, I mean, I look up to her in many ways just for how she is. And, I continue on down the line of, like, I want those kids to ask me, can you stay till 10 p.m. at night at Barber Park to wind up, bring the arm
That's
back
right.
a little bit and throw. And, I mean, I will take that kid any day, all day long. And, I mean, she just strives as a leader, and I'm very it's a privilege to be able to coach her.
Absolutely. Anna, we were talking a little bit about what your plans are after graduation off camera. Tell us a little bit about what you're wanting to do. Sounds like you're wanting to stay local. Of course, you're a local kid.
Yes.
What are you planning to do after graduation, being your senior year?
I'm going to law school. I'm going to be going to High Point Law School starting in the fall, starting in August. Eventually, I do want to be an attorney general for North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I do want to stay in state. I've always been in state. North Carolina is my home. But, yeah, I want to serve the community that helped raise me and make me who I am. And
Awesome.
I think I could do that as a prosecutor.
Awesome. One last question, Anna, kind of piggybacking off of that, because we talk about the student-athlete part. We talk a lot about the athletics. We talk about on the field, the stats and all that. what has Greensboro College meant to you just as a person, as a student? Your professors, what you're majoring in, the friends that you've made. What has Greensboro College meant to you?
It's really meant a lot, especially coming in. I too was a transfer, so this isn't my first college that I've been to, and coming here, the way that I've been looked after from an administrative side, from a professor side, coach side, like all aspects, they just look after you as a person, not you as a student, not you as a number, but how can we help you get to where you want to be, and how can we continue this relationship to help you further in the future too. Professor Archibald, he just retired last year, but he was my professor for political science. He helped me in any way he could. He wrote me letters of recommendation for law school. We still keep in touch today. And so it's relationships like that I've been able to build here. And my friends too, I do anything for them and they do anything for me.
Yeah.
It's just the connections you've been able to grow here, it's unmatched.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's such a cool place because it's a tight-knit, small community. And I think your testimony is, and I'm sure many others will probably say similar things. Let's wind it up here, Coach, let's look at the rest of the season, kind of preview the rest of the season. We're finally into conference play. Tell me what you've seen from your team and what you like, what you want to see improved, and kind of give us a little bit of a preview of the rest of the conference season.
I think, honestly, something that I've enjoyed seeing recently is our team chemistry come about. How we act in the dugout, how we are before games, all that has truly kind of finally come together. I tell the girls how we bond off the field is how we'll play well on the field, and I think I've truly seen that kind of come together ever since we started conference. Things that I want to continue to see and grow in, I think is kind of going back to earlier, stopping the bleeding in certain situations that we get ourselves in. But I think, this year half our team is new. We're still learning each other. But I think with great leadership, the girls have really came along and have helped kind of, develop those things. Really proud of this one right here. She's come in, we'll call time, settle things down. And I think truly, whether the wins or we lose, I'm just proud to see this team kind of come together finally and be able to mature in a lot of aspects and kind of put things together where whether we win or we lose, as long as I see growth in this team, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward to that for the rest of the season. And, our motto is we stand on business, and I think that's the plan for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here at Daryl's Woodfire Grill. Appreciate you guys coming on the show. When we come back, we're going to have a little bit of a preview of Give for GC Day, which is next Wednesday. We're going to have Director of Athletics Jerry Fisk and Rob Hevner talk about Give for GC Day when we come back from commercial break here live from Daryl's Woodfire Grill. All right, welcome back here to Greensboro College Athletics Live. We have another special guest segment, Director of Athletic Development, Rob Hevner, along with Director of Athletics, Jerry Fisk. And we're going to talk about Give for GC Day coming up next Wednesday. This is a huge day when it comes to fundraising for our athletic program. And Jerry, I'll kind of let you kick it off. I know you wanted to mention something real fast before we talk about gifts for GC Day, so go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Just the student athletes that we've been able to bring up today, Trevor and Anna. Trevor, first semester here, but fitting in perfectly. I can't say enough good things about Anna Frazier. she is. If we could clone her and put her on all of our teams, she's such a diligent student. Graduating with a super high GPA. She does things the right way. She always makes us proud with everything she does, and I just can't tell you how proud I am of her. She's the best.
Absolutely. It's so cool to hear those. And that's actually a great segue into this, because it's so cool to hear those stories, those personal stories. Like, again, we talk about the stats, we talk about the wins, losses, we talk about all that. But what's really cool about our jobs is that we get to know our student athletes and coaches on a more personal level. And when you get to see, athletes like Trevor, like Anna, also we got Peyton Shiflett in the house as well. It's really cool to see those kids and how great they are as people. And that's one of the big reasons to give.
100%. This shared experience and everything. I'm going to go through some of the things that many of our teams are fundraising for in this day of giving. You'll see that they're centered around the student athlete. What we're trying to raise money for is to support the student athlete experience. It's to help give them the experience we want them to have, to facilitate the leadership that the coaches want to provide. And I think it just lines up with the family way we try to do things here that our coaches have talked about. I love the comments from both of them.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into Give for GCE. You've got a little bit of a list that I want to stress is different this year than it has been some years, is that any money given to all of the programs stays with that program. I know that always hasn't been a strength of how things have gone, but I'm proud to say that, thanks to the support of people like Dr. Zarda and Sheila Barber and others, every dollar that's given to softball stays with softball, and baseball with baseball, and so on. So, I'd like to share all of our coaches this year. What I've asked them to do is tell me what you want to raise money for. I don't want to just raise money so that we have more zeros in our account, but what are we trying to impact? And so I've got a list here I want to run through. I'm sorry to read to everyone, but I think these are some exciting things. Volleyball wants extra gear for the weight room and more equipment for training. Women's lacrosse is raising it for spring break of 27 and additional training equipment. Softball wants screens, mats, and additional team bonding events. Men's soccer's, we talked last week about a new field going in at Pride Field. Well, they want new game goals to go on the field so that it looks as sharp as it can when we open up in August. The swim team is raising money for a training trip next year and a new record board to recognize those that came before. Triathlon raising money for wetsuits, bikes, shoes, and bike parts. Women's soccer, facility enhancements including the goals, additional gear and travel. Women's basketball, locker room upgrades and additional training gear. Men's basketball is raising money for locker room upgrades, keypad entrance, and a logoed carpet. They want to make that space in their locker room feel more like home. Men's lacrosse is raising money for locker room enhancements and additional equipment. Football is looking to raise money for a fueling and hydration station, training equipment, and like a one-man sled. Baseball, Coach Fennessy told me they're looking to raise money for facility improvements and player development tools. And then wrestling, looking to raise money towards a new mat and a sterilizer mat cleaner so that they can have a new mat for competition and they keep it clean and keep it as safe as we can for those athletes. So there's nothing on there that I read that's not about our student athletes, and I love that's what their aim is this year. And I appreciate having teammates like Rob and Julie Schatz that are helping us in that regard. I think one of the cool things about our coaching staff that you just mentioned, it's so student-athlete focused. We talk about in our meetings and just around campus, we want to improve things for the student-athlete experience. And you coming in as the AD, that's one of the things you said first was, hey, what can we do to improve the student-athlete experience? Rob, Director of Athletic Development, Rob, just tell us a little bit about what you've been doing with raising money when it comes to local sponsorships and kind of what you want to see from Give for GC.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. First of all, let me say again, thank you to Stephen and Kendrick for putting this show on. These guys work a lot of hours to put this on, so really do appreciate what you're doing on top of your everyday job you guys do here. So thanks again, and Jerry, thanks for supporting it. I think Randy Doss, too, for supporting this. This is exciting. It's our second show. We're really launching it to to be an outreach to the alums that are local, actually to the alums that can see the shows. So they're getting that student athlete experience, getting to see, hey, I kind of remember playing softball, or I remember playing baseball. So first of all, it's just that connectivity is very important to the community. Second of all, before I speak a little bit about, we've got a sponsor here with us tonight, talk about sponsorships. I will say Jerry may need to add one thing to baseball. That's probably food, because I just met Carter coming off the mound at Friday's game, and then you see him on the mound kind of far away. You see Trevor far away on the field. These dudes are massive.
Big boys.
I'm like, is fantasy, we feed him enough? That guy's too big. So thank God he's here at Daryl's. He's getting a nice cheeseburger here at Daryl's, and thank you, Daryl's, for being a great host. But to speak to that a little bit, I think what we're just talking to the sponsors about is how could they be more connected to our school, and how can our student athletes appreciate what they're doing for the community. It's just a fun outreach, a fun touch. Like I said, we've got Finn Dentistry here, recognize a new partnership, and they're getting out of it just as much as we're getting. It's a nice two-way street. It's the connectivity to the school, to our integrity, to our moral values, what we do as a small private college. I think they want to be a part of that. They're seeing that this is where things are headed in a positive way for Greensboro and the community. So, it's kind of an easy recommendation for me that we're just talking about a partnership. It's not a donation. We're trying to support their goals, what they're trying to reach out to the community too, and to be connected to 1,012 students, 250 plus staff and administration, and God knows how many alumni we have that live in the area then that would support the community sponsorships that we have. So I'm excited. Continued growth, and this is just the start of a lot of great things. And mainly, too, one of the big things I know we touched on last week is the re-imaging of Pride Field. It's a huge commitment by the administration, by Dr. Zarda, the Board of Trustees. We have a former Board of Trustee going to be our alum spotlight, Richard Beer, here in a minute, talk about his great years playing soccer here at Greensboro College. But that connectivity of what we're seeing with Pride Field, it's just exciting.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great time to be at Greensboro College. I'm so proud to be associated with the school.
I mean, there's so many things. You just mentioned with Pride Field project coming up this summer. So many things that are exciting. I think that's one of the things when recruits come to campus, current students and staff. There's things that we're looking forward to. There's things that are coming up that we're really excited about, and that's kind of, when it comes to sponsorships and donations, like, hey, jump on the train because it's about to get moving really fast. I think there's a lot of good things coming up. One of the things that we, are also going to have next Wednesday, we're going to have a little bit of a live show as well on April 8th. Give for GC Day. We'll hopefully be able to give you some updates on what the fundraising has been. We're going to get to talk to some coaches and athletes as well. On Give for GC Day. So that's going to be huge coming up as well. But again, April 8th is Give for GC Day. You're going to be seeing a lot of posts about it on social media, so be sure to follow not only GC Athletics but all of our teams on Instagram, on X, and Facebook. You'll see a QR code coming out very soon this week for the link that you can donate at. So a huge couple weeks coming up, especially on April 8th. Jerry and Rob, do you guys want to add anything else?
Yeah, the only thing I would add is, sometimes I hear concerns from young alums. I can't give a lot. I would just want to reiterate that everyone that gives, all the gifts matter. And if you can, skip Starbucks on Tuesday and give us that $5, that matters just as much as somebody else. And we appreciate the patronage and being a part of what we've got going on. And, a lot of exciting things. Really fortunate that we were able to get Rob on board, and Rob's doing a great job with it, and we're just happy to support what's going on.
Absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you guys so much. We're going to take a break, and then we are going to have our special guest here from Finn Dentistry. Rob, you're going to get to talk a little bit about one of our brand new sponsors. So stay with us right here from Daryl's Wood Fire Grill. We'll take a break and be right back.
Every college athlete has a story to tell, and at Greensboro College, we believe no one is better equipped to tell those stories than the athletes themselves. On the Getting to Know podcast, you'll hear the who, what, when, where, why, and how of each college athlete's journey to Greensboro and how they became a member of the Pride. We talk on and off the field, influences, hobbies, goals, and what it means to be a member of the Pride. It's all on the Getting to Know podcast on Spotify and YouTube.
You know, I just really felt like I was a person, you know, and they really cared about you, not only as like an athlete, but, you know, as an individual as well. And so that was one of the things that like led me here, honestly.
The Getting to Know podcast from Greensboro College Athletics. We are one Pride, and these are our stories.
Hey, great. Thanks. We're back at Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill for our sponsor spotlight. This is exciting as we continue to build momentum and we collect sponsorships that support Greensboro College and what we're doing here with the student athlete experience. We have with us Finn Dentistry. We have the office administrator, Stephanie, and we have the dental hygienist, one of the dental hygienists, Johanna. And thank God I said that right. But listen, you guys, I really appreciate you coming on board and taking some time to come over and speak with us tonight. It's so important to get to know you guys personally, the staff. I stopped into your office one day and was just mesmerized by the spa-like feel that your office has. So, first of all, tell me a little bit about the practice, Dr. Finn, you know, kind of staff. Talk to me about the staff. But I want to know who the heck decided that's how I want this dental office to look, because it is, Stephanie, it is just calming in there. And that's not normal for a dental office.
Well, that's what we go for. And, you know, Dr. Finn, he is a third-generation dentist, and his father and grandfather were both dentists. And it's always been that way. That's what they want. They want the family feel. It's calm. Johanna here has been with him she's been with that practice for 30 years. So she was with the dentist before. And then one of our assistants has been there 40 years.
Over 40
yeah,
years.
so it's where you want to be. He's just a great dentist. He's a great person, and he's a great employer. And people just love him. And everybody's happy. We have a great team, and it just shows.
Absolutely. When I walked in there, that experience, you could tell when a dental office is clicking and everybody's happy. It's upbeat, it's relaxing, but it's calm. And I don't think a lot of people enjoy going to the dentist. So to walk in there and see that calmness, it makes a big difference.
It does.
One thing that's important, believe me, if you're a student or a staff member at Greensboro College, and anybody in the community watching this, but it is literally right across from Reynolds Center, across the street, and Jerry probably could hit his sand wedge and hit the building, maybe, but he would probably top it and still hit it. But it's a great location for Greensboro College staff and student athletes. But tell me a little bit about the hours, because the address is 1011 West Friendly Avenue, again, right across from us. Tell me about the hours, and you know, kind of related to that. Tell me a little bit also about the practice, any specialties, cosmetic implants, crowns. Do you do those in-house, stuff like that?
Yeah, so we're open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5. We do take an hour for lunch at 1. But after hours, we do have an app that lets us know if there's an emergency.
Perfect.
And so, we always have someone checking that app. We have oral surgeons on call for us and endodontists on call for us if necessary. And Dr. Finn he doesn't really specialize in anything other than the patient experience. He's an amazing dentist. If we We offer it. He can do it. Whitening, if you're interested in cosmetics, he does that. Crowns, dentures, partials. He does root canals. He does. We do everything. But honestly,
don't say that word. Don't say root canal.
His specialty is really the patient. Honestly, he really cares for his patients, and that's the experience that he's concerned about.
I always like to say I think he's a perfect mixture of being a perfectionist and an artist with his dentistry. He's really good, and he just really concentrates on making the patient feel comfortable.
100%.
And like you said, there's plenty of people who are not comfortable coming into the dental office, and so we really try to make that.
Experience.
Yeah.
Do you offer gas?
We do. We have nitrous oxide, yes. Absolutely.
Perfect. Great. Well, listen, appreciate you guys coming and being a part of Greensboro College community, providing this partnership, and I'm very excited to support you guys. And I would please, if you're out there looking for a new dental home, I think you'll be surprised at how this office is so warm and comforting. That's not a lot of dental offices are like that.
Right.
So give them a shout. Finn Dentistry. Let me give you the phone number, 336-396-8955.
It's 378-1011.
Okay,
Sorry.
so we changed. Okay. Yeah. Say that again.
It's
336-378-1071. 1071. And it's Finn Dentistry. And ask for Stephanie.
Oh, I'll answer the phone.
She'll probably answer the phone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
you guys have been great. Thanks for coming, and look forward to, again, supporting your practice. And thank you for being part of Greensboro College.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Every college athlete has a story to tell, and at Greensboro College, we believe no one is better equipped to tell those stories than the athletes themselves. On the Getting to Know podcast, you'll hear the who, what, when, where, why, and how of each college athlete's journey to Greensboro and how they became a member of the Pride. We talk on and off the field, influences, hobbies, goals, and what it means to be a member of the Pride. It's all on the Getting to Know podcast on Spotify and YouTube.
I just really felt like I was a person, and they really cared about you, not only as like an athlete, but, as an individual as well. And so that was one of the things that led me here, honestly.
The Getting to Know podcast from Greensboro College Athletics. We are one Pride, and these are our stories.
I grew up on the Outer Banks, Manio, North Carolina. So the path to Greensboro College was a little bit of an unbeaten path. The same thing here. I had never watched a sport. I don't know anything about cars. Taking an opportunity that comes out of nowhere, and it might not be the vision that you had for yourself, but you could make a mark. I think the records were kind of just a byproduct of who I wanted to become as a man.
Okay, we're back. Greensboro College Live, Athletics Live Show. Fantastic. We've got our second second edition of the sports trivia question. Can you beat our AD? We will not talk about last week's results, but as of now, our AD average is 4 and players are 7. So I guess you can figure that out. Let's not talk about it. All right, so 10 questions, some multiple choice. Just answer best you can. If you have any questions, don't ask any, and we're ready to roll. All right, ready. Question 1. Which film based on a true story about a British running team at the 1924 Paris Olympics won an Academy Award? The Race, Without Limits, Chariots of Fire, Personal Best. Yeah, I'm going to put my glasses on. Apparently, I can't see anymore. Okay. All right, ready? Sorry. I do have gray hair. Which player hit a walk-off home run during the 2001 World Series, earning him the nickname Mr. November? Baseball players should know this. Joe Carter, Kirk Gibson, Reggie Jackson, Derek Jeter. Which quarterback in 2016 became the first to win the Super Bowl with 2 different teams? Joe Flacco, Nick Foles, Peyton Manning, or my favorite, Brett Favre. Kind of going to a Greensboro connection here, but not Greensboro College, Greensboro, North Carolina. How long was the record-breaking 2010 tennis match between John Isner from Greensboro and Nicholas Mahut? It's 6 hours, 8 hours, a little over 11 hours, a little over 13 hours. All right. Which of these players was named NBA League MVP but never led his team to an NBA Finals title? Karl Malone, John Stockton, Reggie Miller, or Tim Duncan from Wake Forest, great player. Number 6, which NFL team had an offense dubbed the greatest show on turf in the late 90s and early 2000s? Indianapolis Colts, St. Louis Rams, Atlanta Falcons, or the New Orleans Saints? All right, everybody ready? Sorry, took me a second. Got to have a golf question in every show. Jerry knows that. And who was credited with the quote, "Golf wasn't meant to be fair"? Bobby Jones, Jack Nicklaus, Pete Dye, or Ben Hogan? Okay, which team holds the record for most FIFA World Cup titles won? Brazil, Italy, Germany, Argentina. Question 9. This is an interesting question, so whoever answers the most out of this question will be awarded the win of this question. You'll understand when I ask it. What are the only 5 universities that have produced both a U.S. president and a Super Bowl winning quarterback? So just try to guess some universities that you think may have had a Super Bowl quarterback and a president. Super Bowl winning quarterback. I'll give you another second. Okay. Everybody good? Greensboro College question to finish us off. Who were the 2 inductees in Greensboro College's inaugural Hall of Fame class in 1991? Mike Grimsley, James Locke, Laura Brown Richer, or Andrew McMurray? And two of the 4. So it's either Mike Grimsley, James Locke, Laura Brown, or Andrew McMurray. All right. Ready? Yeah, you ready? All right, Steven's going to grade them real quick for me. Come on.
I did better this week.
Well, I hope so. That was pretty embarrassing last week. All right, Trevor. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
I'm gonna grab. I'll roll through the answers real quick. Question 1 was 24 Paris Olympics, the movie, Chariots of Fire. I've actually been to where that's filmed. That running scene was filmed off of the first tee at St. Andrews, that beach at St. Andrews. All right, which player hit the walk-off? Mr. November, Derek Jeter. Mr. October was Reggie Jackson. Which quarterback? 2 Super Bowl teams. One was the Colts, one was the Broncos, Peyton Manning. The long tennis match was over 11 hours and 5 minutes. Took over 3 days. The player, great player, a shame he probably never won a title, but he played in one, was Karl Malone. Karl Malone. Yep, never won one. The team, of course, St. Louis Rams, was the greatest show on turf. The golf question, I met him, shook his hand, talked to him at the Cardinal. He designed the Cardinal in 1974-75, is Pete Dye. Which team holds the record for the most FIFA World Cup is Brazil. Yeah, Germany and Italy both have 4. Brazil has 5. The state question, in the university and the president question. So see who got. Navy was 1 because that was Roger Staubach, Jimmy Carter. Stanford was Jim Plunkett and John Elway went to Stanford, and Herbert Hoover was the president. Then you had Michigan was Tom Brady and Gerald Ford. And then this was a kind of an interesting Benjamin Harrison and Ben Roethlisberger was the Miami of Ohio. Joe Flacco and Joe Biden, University of Delaware. So that's your 5 universities. Okay. And then the 10 for Greensboro College, anybody know Mike Grimmer? Yeah. Mike Grimsley was in it, and Laura Brown Richter.
Do I get half credit?
No. All right, Stephen calculating the.
Looks like Jerry got 8.
8 for Jerry.
Trevor with 4.
Trevor, it's all right. Well played. Thanks for playing, Trevor. All right, buddy. Hey, a lot better on the baseball diamond anyway. You know, yeah. We need production there, not so much here at the trivia game. Appreciate it. We'll get you a prize for consultation prize for playing. All right, buddy. We're getting ready to do the alumni spotlight, and we'll be finishing up. We have Richard Beard coming up.
I grew up on the Outer Banks, Manio, North Carolina. So the path to Greensboro College was a little bit of an unbeaten path. The same thing here. Like, I had never watched a sport. I don't know anything about cars. Taking an opportunity that comes out of nowhere, and it might not be the vision that you had for yourself, but you could make a mark. I think the records were kind of just a byproduct of who I wanted to become as a man.
Appreciate it, buddy. Yes. Hey, and we're back. Greensboro College Athletics live show here at Daryl's Wood-Fired Grill. Hopping tonight for a Monday. Part of it is I think we got a lot of stuff going on here in Greensboro, and no one better to tell us about that than our own former soccer standout here at Greensboro College and current CEO, president of the Greensboro Sports Foundation, Richard Beard. Richard, thank you for taking time out. It's crazy. I think you told me you got about 1,200 kids here at the GAC.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit, first of all, about your time at Greensboro College and kind of some of the things, maybe, is it some classes? Was it a professor? What stood out as some of the memories when you look back at your time at Greensboro as we talk to some of these current student athletes, as you're meeting them, seeing them, obviously alums that want to know this is where they're now. But let's reflect back on that time at Greensboro.
Sure. Well, I came back to Greensboro. I started off at Presbyterian College down in South Carolina, but I grew up in Greensboro, came back and went to Greensboro College. And when I came back, it was time for me to I'd had a good time down at Presbyterian College, so it was time for me to get some of that out, so I decided to play soccer for Greensboro College. This was back in 1983 when they were bringing soccer back, or maybe it was just the start. I think they had a soccer program and had dropped it and then brought it back. It was pretty much on-campus tryouts, and I picked the right football. I picked the round European football, not the American football. So I made the team. We were terrible that year. We scored 1 goal that season. We lost 12-0 to UNCG, who were
pretty good.
Yeah, they were Division III national champions that year. So at least I got to play against the champions. But it was a great experience to be able to play at the college level. I hung my cleats up after that year, but fast forward, when I went to school there, I mean, the school really cares about the students. And I had one professor, Dr. James Hull, who was incredible, and he was a legend at Greensboro College, taught religion. But he was just a good person and a good mentor, and was a very good mentor to me. And I had several of them through the years at Greensboro College. But
tell me about some of your connectivity since you've graduated to Greensboro College. As an alum, as we kind of touch upon this big day next Wednesday, as alums kind of feel like connectivity back to the school. I think you were on the board of trustees, and were the committees. How did you get reengaged, and why did you want to come back and support the school?
Yeah, well, I have kind of an interesting story about my years at Greensboro College. I left college with about 21 hours left, and then many years later, I came back to Greensboro with the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce, and Craven Williams, who was the president of the school at the time, and my wife encouraged me to go back and finish my degree, which I did. And then Craven, I was working for the Greensboro Chamber in Economic Development and was very involved in the community. And Craven asked me if I would be on the board, which I did. I served on the board for, I think, 8 years.
Wow.
Was on the board when Dr. Zarda came on board, and that was a very tough time for the college. But, I realized how much Greensboro College did to me, and I needed to give back to Greensboro College. And it was a great experience to be on the board at that time. And, I also, now fast forward, I'm running the Greensboro Sports Foundation. Sports is a big part of my life, but it's a big part of Greensboro College's life. I mean,
Right.
over 50% of the students.
About 61% of the students.
It's incredible.
50, or 65. Jerry said 65. I think
Yeah.
about 60. So, huge part, obviously. And so now with your role as president of Greensboro Sports Foundation, tell me a little bit about how you manage all that and how things like these events and how can even Greensboro College and our students be and support and help you, volunteer roles, things like that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I had a career in commercial real estate, and but around 2022, when the ACC was going to move their headquarters out of Greensboro, and we were coming off of COVID, and a lot of politics in the world, and Eric Church made the comment when he was announcing his world tour that there are only two things that bring people together, and that's music and sports. And I was like, he's right. And I was ready for a change, and that's when I decided I was very involved with the Sports Foundation as a volunteer, but I decided I wanted to work my last working years with the Sports Foundation, try to move the needle and bring the importance of sports to Greensboro. And we can use, partnering with Greensboro College. You all have a great facility over there with turf field that comes in play for some of the big events. I know that NC Fusion has reached out, and you all have helped them out at times. Sports and sports tourism is a big thing in Greensboro. And like you mentioned, we're here at Darrell's, and I believe downstairs there are a lot of swimmers. We have the YMCA National Short Course Nationals, and we've had this for many, many years. But there are over 1,200 kids in Greensboro swimming today through Saturday. So big impact on this community.
A couple of things just want to check the boxes with. This man, it means a lot to Greensboro. I know his passion for Greensboro. Really enjoy the fact that he's passionate about Greensboro College as well. Greensboro Sports Foundation, Greensboro community as a whole, we're very lucky that Richard Beard is here and he's doing what he's doing for the community. I'm appreciative that I've gotten to know you, become friends. One of the things we both have in common, a little prog rock. We're big Rush fans. He actually it kills me. He got to play golf with Alex when he came into town, so that kind of bums me out. But just look, appreciate it. Thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for coming and being a part of this. If you're an alum out there looking, going, hey, I want to be a part of this show, please reach out to me, Robert Hefner. You can see me online there, Greensboro College staff. But Richard's very gracious time to come out here and do this and be a part of it. And what I know he's extremely busy right now. So appreciate it.
Yes,
thanks
absolutely.
a lot, buddy.
Thank you.
Greensboro Sports Foundation, reach out if there's anything that they can do to support your organization as well.
Yeah. Go Pride.
Go Pride. And that's
Greensboro College. Greensboro College. To Greensboro College. To Greensboro College.
All right, well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming out tonight. Appreciate all of our guests from baseball, softball, our Finn Dentistry guests, as well as Mr. Beard. Appreciate you guys so much. Our next show is going to be on April the 20th. It's a Monday, right back here at Daryl's Woodfire Grill. Again, thank you so much to everybody. Thank you to Daryl's Woodfire Grill for hosting us. And be sure to go to GreensboroCollegeSports.com to see all the games coming up